So I'm here. I'm going to do a case study interview with my client, Nory. And we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today. So I titled this talk that we're going to have. Actually, we actually came on a little bit late because we were having a deep conversation. I was like, oh, shoot, we're supposed to be live. The courage to go after big ass goals. And I put dollar signs in the SS. So sorry, Mom, if I cussed a little bit. But I'm talking about like big goals that drive you and sometimes can like cripple you if you don't pay attention to what's going on. And not just going after those goals, but having the courage to do what's necessary to actually create the goals and make them happen. So I'm going to share a few things that are going on with me. As you know, I've been talking about this for the last month since we got notified about 2 or 3 weeks ago that we made the Inc. 5000 list. Yay! And I found out today what ranking we are on the Inc. 5000 list, and I am freaking mind blown. But I also know that it was always a deep desire of mine. So I'm going to reveal that today. I'm not going to reveal it right now in this moment. We're going to keep going in this conversation somewhere towards the middle of the end. I'm going to tell you guys what the ranking is in Inc. 5000. Again, I am completely blown. So just to give you an idea of Inc. 5000, there are 31.7 million small businesses, privately held companies in America. So my company, Shameca International, is ranked among the top 5,000 fastest growing privately held companies in America, which is demonstrated by revenue, which you have to turn in documentation in order to prove that. And so I'm like Nory, I'm like, woo, woo. I'm proud of myself. And so when I tell you, I blew my own mind. I was expecting us to be in a certain place and would be excited if we made it higher on the list, and where we landed blows my mind. So I'm going to share that with you guys shortly, but I want to take a moment to introduce Nory to you and talk about the incredible results that she's creating, because I know that oftentimes I talk about my results, what I'm doing in business, and people go, of course, Shameca, you doing that. Or some of y'all go, you asking your friends, is she really doing that? Yeah, bro, she's really doing that. But I also help other people to do it as well. So what I've learned that took me a decade, it took me 12 years in my business to cross $1 million. And I'm showing my clients how to do it much faster than that. So Nory, why don't you tell people who you are in the world? What is the brilliance that you bring to the table? And let's start there first.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? I pressed mute on my microphone. I want to make sure.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is Yenory Pouncil, and I am the self-trust catalyst for women leaders that are mastering their lives, manifesting what they desire with ease. And I'm thebomb.com.
Simple, to the point. Here's what I love about you. Self-trust is what you teach, and self-trust has been the journey. And so a lot of people don't realize this. I heard this saying a long time ago, and it took a long time for it to take root in my own spirit. We teach what we most need to learn. We teach what we most need to learn. And this is where courage comes in, because everybody wants to look good. They want to floss. They want to boss up for their friends, their family. They want everybody to see them doing well. And especially around the thing that they are trying to be masterful at. But in order for you to get to a level of mastery, you must go through levels upon levels upon levels upon levels around the thing that you teach. And so there are times you will feel like you got it. Like, I'm a boss. I got it. And then there's times you're going to feel like, why am I even teaching this? Because I don't got this, because you're going through another level of the lesson. And so people will always say, let me close this out. People will often say, new level, new devil. I'm going to teach y'all something. It ain't new level, new devil. It's new level, same devil. And so I want to talk about this journey of self-trust for yourself for this year. Let's start off, though, with sharing with them what you've just done, because I realize you collapse time around a certain number. And I think it's beautiful, because it's like you're bringing it in faster and faster. So we started working together about a year ago. Right?
It's going to be a year. This month is going to be a year.
Yeah. Yes. So we're completing our year. And Nory came to me because she was ready to play big. She wanted to play big. And I was like, I don't think play big is where we need to spend time together. I believe we need time. I believe for the transformation that you're looking for where you are right now, time is what we need. And she trusted me. There was another level of trust and said, okay, I'm all in, because there was a difference in that investment level. So let's talk about where you were then, what has transpired over the past year, and what we're celebrating moving into your next year with me.
First of all, I really love doing this. I do this with my clients all the time. So being able to be on the receiving end of this conversation, I'm so excited and hyped. Like, my face doesn't accurately reflect it. Because I be having that resting bee face. When I started working with you, I was actually pregnant with this little one. And a lot of it was, how do I build a 6-figure business? And how do I do it with ease? I have a baby coming in, and I'm not going to have all day every day to be kikiing on the Lord's internet. Like, I need to figure out, what do I need to do?
Not the Lord's internet.
How do I do it? Okay. And I remember the conversation with you being like, I'm ready to play big. I came here to play big. I'm ready to pay my money for play big. And you were like, well, play big is closed. And I was like, I see. And you're like, here's where I see you. And a lot about where I was at that moment was really like, I need to make money. Like, I've been in business for a while, and I have this desire to hit this financial numbers, and I'm not there yet. And I want to know why. And during that first conversation, I really recall you just calling me out on all of it and like holding me accountable to what I was doing and how I was showing up, and encouraging me to decide to make some changes if I was going to show up differently, including letting things go that I was investing my time in. And that was challenging a little bit because I was attached to those things. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, you shared with me, you promised me like, hey, if you let these things go, what you desire is going to come with a deeper level of ease. And my commitment is ease. I'm very committed to that in my life. And I'm trusting myself to build that life, right? And when you and I started working together, I hadn't hit 6 figures in a year yet. I don't believe that hadn't happened. We launched my first my mastermind, which I was actually going to sit on for another year until this year to launch. And you were like, nope, clean that up. Let's get this. Let's offer people a way to work with you. And that was like the best decision I made, because out of making that decision, I close things out. I simplify, and you actually been talking about simplification a lot lately. So this is so on brand. We simplify my business. And not only did I end up I hit 6 figures. So if y'all saw Shameca talking about a secret 6-figure earner, I was one of them.
It wasn't really a secret. She just hit 6 figures, and she wasn't looking at her numbers. So she didn't even know she had hit 6 figures.
No.
So she was one of the secret 6-figure earners I was celebrating.
I was one of them. And then we had a conversation, and I nonchalantly mentioned, hey, I know how to make 6 figures in 9 months. I'm ready to make this. Where's my money at? And you were like, wait, what? What just happened? And then we saw that we had done it in 9 months. And then 2 weeks ago, I believe it happened.
About 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, I hit $117 of sales in 9 days.
Okay, I want you to say that again, because you said $117.
$117,000 in sales in 9 days.
Yeah, girl. All right, so I don't know. Yes, Sage. So I don't know if you caught that. She did her first 6 figures in 9 months, right? It took her 9 months to cross 6 figures for the first time.
Actually, no, it took me 33 months to cross 6 figures for the first time, from the starting of my business.
From the point that you work with me, 9 months.
But from that point, I hit it in 9 months, yes.
Once she realized she had done 6 figures already, and we're going to talk about what happened in that in-between stage, because she's the self-trust master, guru, all of those things. So we're going to talk about this we teach what we most need to learn thing. Once she realized she did it, within about 30 days or so, she had that 6-figure, basically 9-day period of time. So I want to congratulate you on a couple of things. I had celebrated you because I was like, oh, she's a 6-figure slayer. But you kind of did it all in such a short period of time that you skipped right over that and you now are getting the $1 Million Mogul Award at Game On Live. So
y'all gonna be annoyed.
She's like, prepare to be sick of me.
Prepare. It's your time to leave right now, baby.
I want to share why we do the $1 Million Mogul Award like we do. So as long as you hit 6 figures in a 30-day period of time, then you are awarded the $1 Million Mogul Award. About 4 years ago, one of my good friends and now a client of mine, she wasn't a client at the time, we were on a panel together. And I was talking about how I had made this decision. It was 4 or 5 years ago, made this decision that I want to start having 6-figure months. It was probably 2018. 2018, I think is what it was. I want to start having 6-figure months. And I was upset because it was October. And I was like, I haven't done 6-figure months yet. I had an $87,000 month or $86,000 and some change month this month, but I know that the 6-figure months are coming. And we finished the panel and she said, hey, can I share something with you? And I said, of course. And she said, here's what I want to share with you. She said, what you got to realize is that doing $1 million in a year, which is actually the goal that you actually have, is only $83,333 per month. So doing $87,000 in a month is over what you need in order to do $1 million. And it dropped a seed in me and broke something open, where I started to really look at and anchor where I was on the journey, because we can look at the gap of where we are and try to create from that space. But when you're trying to create your goals from I'm not there yet, you're actually on a lower end resonant frequency. And if you remember me sharing this a couple of episodes ago, I share that your goals aren't goals at all. They're not things you're trying to attain. They are frequencies for which you are trying to attune to. You must attune and calibrate to the frequency, the resonant frequency of that goal. And I can share some examples about why that's true, but it changed the game. And so what I try to do is reward my clients for that peak into the frequency that they want, they desire. That means in this moment, she has everything she needs within her. She has the makings and the knowings of how to do 6 figures in a short amount of time. So she can do it as fast as she desires to. It's just attuning to the frequency of doing that. So I want to talk about the in-between. And this, like, we teach what we most need to learn, because that takes most of y'all out of the game, right? For me, it's always around money. It's around my growth and my leadership with money. It's about energetics with money. And it has always been that. Even when I was broke as a joke, I'm like, really? My company used to be called Wealth Builders Network. There was no wealth in it. So I've always known that this is what I was meant to teach. But I couldn't figure out why I couldn't figure it out. And it's because I needed to learn all the lessons I now mentor my clients through, which allows them to collapse time. Mm-hmm. So this journey to 6 figures, and then the journey from 6 figures in 9 months to 6 figures in 9 days for you, was not just like boom, pow, it's all there. So I want you to talk about that, Nory.
So as I mentioned earlier, I'm a self-trust catalyst. And what that means is that I focus on getting crystal clear on what it takes for you to listen to your intuition, and focus only on listening to your intuition, because I truly believe that when you do that, you can make 6 figures in 9 days. So a big part of trusting yourself is to trust others and to trust God. And that God's going to put people in your life that's going to support you in bringing your vision to life. So Shameca, to me, let's start with that foundation. She was an answered prayer. Like, I was praying for a mentor. I was praying for someone to support me, and someone that was okay. Not only that was okay, that would encourage me being the most. Because I am the most. I am an icon. That's how I introduce myself. So that gives you the vibes that I be on. So if I'm working with a mentor that doesn't understand that, I'm not going to be able to thrive in that environment, because this person doesn't really see me. Mm-hmm. So with that understanding in mind, the moments between me making this 6 figures in 9 days, there was a lot of discomfort in that space, because I was expanding and it required me to not care about making this money. I was in a space that it's about me attuning to that frequency, and the person that creates those type of results in that time frame she's not worried about making money. She
on.
is having a great time. She's having an amazing life. She's enjoying everything around her. And she is feeling so abundant. The money is running to be with me. And that's not where I was during the days even leading to that. To be honest, I was very much like, hey, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? We hit these numbers in sales, and that's great. At the same time, my business is just getting to a place where I feel like it's no longer in that surviving stage. And you mentioned how 6 figures is nothing but minimum wage for business owners. That's facts, because you're paying taxes, you're paying all these different things. So I had to really drink my own Kool-Aid. I tell this to my clients, like I have to drink my own Kool-Aid. Like I have to sit down with my own system to trust myself and be like, you've outsourced this piece to Shameca. You've outsourced this piece to so-and-so. You got to do your part. And your part is not worrying about people. Your part is being grounded in the knowing that you are the bomb and that you are amazing and that you're creating huge transformations. And you mentioned me looking at my numbers. It was really about me learning to be impeccable with my word and being in integrity. It was about me saying, hey, this is what I desire, and I'm truly not going to entertain anything less than that. And going back and being honest about, am I in a state of lack? Because to be transparent, some of those sales, they had told me no. They were like, yo, I'm not a good fit for this. And then I went back and I had another conversation. And first, I energetically shifted myself from a space of lack and desperation. Yeah, I know that energy that is like, oh my God, who's gonna pay my electricity bill? Who's gonna pay that bill? Who's gonna feed my baby? I don't know, like what the vibe is. I was in that like neediness. Yeah. And what happened when I saw my numbers, Shameca, I realized, girl, why are you coming out here to people like, please, sir.
Please, ma'am, may I please have some more?
May I please have a droplet? So like, why are you coming to people like that? Yes. That's not who you are. Yes. And I didn't know that because I didn't know who I had become as a business owner. I was still that hobbyist that is happy somebody knows her name. Yeah. And meanwhile, people are looking at me like, oh, you know my name? And I was like, oh, I don't know that. And I feel that I had to exit this conditional idea of humbleness and step into the ownership of who I am. That's who I am. I'm someone that makes $117,000 in 9 days. It's who I am.
It's who she be.
Who I be. And I was running away from that because of the fear of, can I do it again? Yes. What if somebody sees me, even me posting it? I was like, what if somebody messages me asking me for money? I'm like, girl, then don't respond. Like, why are we stressed?
Yeah, I remember when I reached out to you and I said, hey, I'm going to celebrate you. And I was like, I won't share your name if you don't want me to share your name, but I'm going to celebrate the fact that you did this thing. And I said, I'm going to do a quick post right now because I'm in the energy of being excited for you that you had this $117,000 in 9 days moment. But I'm going to do a longer post. And before I can post my post, and I was like, look at Nory working her own work. You had posted yourself a long story with what you had just done. And it was such a powerful thing for me to witness. And most often when I'm looking at people who want to work with me or people who are stuck at 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, trying to move into the next level, they think it's another strategy that's going to get them there. It's that work right there. And you have always been willing to do the work. And the work is mostly internal. When your inside game is on point, when you're in full trust of yourself, of God, of the process, in the knowing of who you be, you could work on the internet and make money. That's just the way this thing works, right? Everything you do is going to line up and bring things to you. When that is not on point, it seems like you're pulling a boulder uphill. Yes. And so for me to witness you be willing to celebrate yourself in that way without all the mind chatter of what might happen was such a beautiful moment. I didn't even do another post. I just went on your post and celebrate. I think I shared your post on my page because I was like, that was good. That was had the anointing on it.
I even tag you on that, which is something that I would have never done, right? Because a big part of the representative I was showing y'all in the world, she's very enigmatic. She's like, yeah, celebrating something. Don't know. You're not gonna get to know what it is because I don't want you to come up in here. It's just very like that. And the version of me that I'm falling in love with, she don't care. This is who it is. This is what it is. And yeah, you can message me. I don't gotta respond. Period. Like it's just that ownership of self and that being in integrity with who I am. So much of what had to happen for me to reach this milestone was being in integrity with Nory. Like the person that I say I am when nobody's paying attention, being that person when nobody's paying attention.
Yes.
And that can be so difficult sometimes. And I had felt for a while, like when I started working with you, I was definitely still in that energy of, all right, I got to paint this perfect picture. I'm amazing at creating experiences. You come in my experience and you're going to be blown away. And I had created this representative that did that with my representation. And I was wondering, why are people not connecting to me? Because they don't know you, girl. That's why. They know this rep and they know this rep is a rep. And I didn't know that they know that it was a rep. So once I realized I'm tired, I'm running on 6 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, I got a baby, you're going to get who you're going to get. And a big part of this transformation has been about being in acceptance of where I am. For a long time, I felt like I couldn't celebrate until I had reached something that I felt I was proud of because I thought it was good enough.
Yes.
Everything I do is good enough. That's how I move. It's not only good enough, it's more than good enough because that's my standard for what I deliver to the world. And something I'm so incredibly appreciative and grateful for in working with you and in this last year has been the mandatory celebration. At the beginning, I call it like mandatory fun. It feels like mandatory fun at the beginning. And then you start to see like, oh, wow, like I'm celebrating myself. I did that. And I can sit in that energy of someone that does that. And I'm looking at people around me. And at first I was celebrating them, but I wasn't really celebrating them. I'm just going to be honest. I'd be like, oh, yeah, girl, I'm so happy for you. Meanwhile, I'm like, another person getting their blessing, Lord. And here I am again.
What about me? Right. I want to talk about this because I think it's an important aspect of part of what I teach, right? There are sometimes people come into my containers and they're like, why do we do these celebrations at the beginning? Especially when they're not finding things to celebrate. And it's because I learned this principle that now perpetuates. People always ask, Shameca, what is the one of the things that has like catapulted your success? And it's being okay with where I was now, because I had a representative too, like out here trying to pretend like you at six figures and you ain't even making $15,000 a year. Like that, it doesn't work because the frequency is off, right? People are looking for you, the divine in you, what God placed in you from the moment that you were conceived and born, right? Before you were even placed in your mother's womb, like he knew you. And so there is a you that is you, but when you come out here trying to pretend, you're not being you. And so learning this concept of now perpetuates. What happens is if I'm good with the good things that are happening with me now, whether it's 2 people in my program or 20 people in my program, right? If I'm good with that good, everything I desire, because I'm on the frequency of abundance, of success, of celebration, that's a higher vibe frequency. Then I'm allowing and actually calibrating to more good things coming to me. That's the beautiful thing about it. The concept of now perpetuates. So if you're in lack now, meaning I'm not where I want to be, I want $1 million business and I only have a 6-figure business. And how do I bridge this gap? And it's always about the gap. You're going to perpetuate that. What you're focused on now will perpetuate. So that is why we celebrate. Well, we celebrate for multiple reasons. So we celebrate for that reason, because once you start looking at what's good, you train your reticular activation system to look for more good things. When you don't do that, what you're training your reticular activation system to do is to look for the things that are going wrong, which is why you continually stay in the cycle. Look for the gap, look for the lack in your life, the far offness of where you desire to be. And you're just going to keep seeing it, keep seeing it, keep seeing it. So you have to learn how to retrain your brain, because our brain is programmed mostly to look at the negative things or the lack in our life, to look at what's going well. The second reason why we do it, I saw that Stacia, who's here with us live, posted that, because it's the I got next mentality.
Yeah.
When someone else is winning, every win that you saw, even the ones you were a little disgruntled about because it wasn't you, was a peek into possibility for you, right? It wasn't to show you how far away you are or that you're not there yet. And most people look at it that way. It is to show you that it's possible. I believe that you would never see examples. You would never see Nory, who's doing 6 figures in 9 days, or me, who has done $1 million in 24 hours. You would never be exposed to us if it wasn't in the realm of your possibility.
Yes.
It is proof positive that it's possible for you. And that is the other element that you are celebrating. When you celebrate somebody else, you are literally like, yeah, you go. And I got next because thank you for being possibility for me.
Yes, yes. I'm glad you used the word possibility, because that's another thing that was going on in the in-between. It was deciding that I will be that possibility and that I am going to show up as that possibility, and deciding that I'm going to be happy, not happy. I'm going to be at peace and instead of appreciation with where I am right now. I'm going to go full acceptance, and full acceptance can be really uncomfortable because there are a lot of things that bring up resistance for us. And you don't know what these things are until they show up for you. So in that decision to be a possibility, I started to pay attention and notice, thank you, Sage, what I was already a possibility of. And I saw that I had been a possibility of someone who wasn't keeping their word to themselves. Let me grab his bottle. Hold on.
So she's talking about being possibility, like she wasn't being possibility to go ahead.
I was saying, so for me, it was about making a decision that I was going to be impeccable with my word and I was going to be in integrity. And that if I'm saying I am the embodiment of possibilities, well, what are those possibilities? Because that sounds cute, but what is it? And things like being in a state of appreciation, being in a state of allowing. You talk about the knowing that is already done. And I had to go deep and be like, what does that mean to me?
Yeah.
Because I didn't believe it. And I would say it, but I was still like lack. Like all I would see was the lack. And there was a moment when I saw myself in the in-between, closing the doors to my possibilities, closing my doors to all of my possibilities. Like people, me being like, oh, well, this is why that won't work. And this is why this won't work. And this is why that won't work. And it's like, girl, but how can it work though?
Right.
Like if I'm created in the image of God, and I truly believe that, and if I'm operating in a state of abundance, because the universe is abundant, God creates everything in abundance, then why am I choosing to have a dream where things don't work my way?
Come on.
Why am I choosing to tell myself a story that I don't like? And I decided that I was going to make decisions quickly. I decided that I wasn't going to ruminate over things because I didn't have all the information, because in reality, I can't have all the information ever. Things are always changing. So it really required for me to be okay not knowing the how, and not only not knowing the how, surrendering to the reality in my realm that the how is the journey.
Yes.
The journey tells me the how. I'm going to go find out the how.
That's the courageous part, right? So here's the deal. I said the courage to, I didn't say the courage to create big goals. I said the courage to go after them, because 9 times out of 10, most of you listening, you set big goals with your mouth, but your actions don't line up with the goals that you set, right? The trust, you bob and weave with trust. You bob and weave with certainty because you don't see the how. I know you've heard this a million times probably over your lifetime. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just got to take the step right in front of you. There's so much truth to that, but that requires courage. And most people don't have the level of courage that is necessary for the dream that they have put on the table. Right? You got 6-figure courage, but you got $1 million dreams. You got to up the ante.
$1 million taste. $1 million taste.
Right. You gotta
pay for the vacation.
So when you feel that uncertainty, right, you can look on, if you always focus on what you see. There were plenty of times where I'm snapping pictures at events and there's 6 people, and my mother. My mother is in almost every picture that I took at an event that I hosted where there was less than 10 people. My mother was in the room as an attendee and in the picture, right? And there's a lot that I could have made that mean about myself, and I did for a long time. I got to a point where I got courageous enough to actually celebrate the 6 people in the room, the 10 people in the room, the 12 people in the program, the 8 people in the program. The year that we crossed $1 million in revenue, there were 8 people in my mastermind at the beginning of the year. By the time we were done with the year, there were 32. You have what you have, and you will see what you see with your eyes until you don't anymore. If you understand that that's the way this game is played, that's where trust and courage comes in. And you just keep moving until you catch up with the desire that you already created because you spoke it into existence so long ago.
Mm-hmm. One thing I will add to that is it's also trusting to let go of the stories. There were so many stories I had been telling myself. There were so many stories around what I could do in the past and what I had done. And so is doing this, and so is doing that. And, like I've read I had so many coaches before that were like, this is the only path to blah, 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 blah. So breaking those things down and being in a space of like, I get to decide what I believe, and I get to decide what I place my attention and concentration on. And it was difficult at first to make that decision that I'm going to let that shatter go, because it's been around for quite some time. And when you trust in yourself, at some point that has served you. That's why it's still there, right? But now it's no longer aligned with me. So as I am shifting my focus to what is aligned with me and what I feel is helping me get to where I desire to go, I had to be okay sitting and seeing that chatter and being like, oh, this is what's running around here. And they go into full immersion to shift out of that. And that meant being in silence. Like before, there was a day that I had it was a $72,000 day. I think I posted that first in the community. And having that day, it happened within like 2 hours, 3 hours that I had that much money coming in. The first year I worked a full-time job, I made $32,000. The following year, I asked for a raise and they gave me an extra $1,000. So I had that's a huge thing for me, So being in that space, I had to be able to be like, I'm going to just sit with Nory and be in that silence and see what's going on here, because that's really why I don't got these clients I desire. It's not because I'm not good enough. It's not because I don't deliver the results. It's because there's something about my energy that's attracting people that are at this place. And until I release that, I'm not going to see something different. So to be full transparent, at this point in my career, having done self-trust for so long, when I use the term dark, it's not like in a suicidal type of way or any of that stuff. It's really like I had to sit with myself and have some coming to Jesus meeting with myself. Like, y'all know what coming to Jesus meeting is? It's when everybody sit down at the table and be like, all right, what's going on, y'all? Let's just be uncomfortable, be honest about what's going on here. And I had to do that with me and be like, you haven't been showing up like that. You haven't been watching this stuff. Not from a space of you're not doing enough, but from a space of here's what the results you're getting are coming from. Right. So if you started to implement.
It's true, right? It's sitting in truth. Most people aren't willing to tell the truth about what's actually happening because we have silver lining mentality. Again, it takes courage, right? Mm-hmm. To really look at yourself and go, okay, what's the truth about what I'm experiencing? And again, not that you have to overdo it. We don't work a lot of hours. Like my crew, for the most part, we don't work on weekends. We're checked out at the end of the day, spending time with our family. There's no grind till you own it over here. There is intentionality, right? But in order for you to get to a space where you're actually focused on what is going to work to get you to that next level, you have to tell the truth about where you currently are, which starts with stop lying about how much money you're making right now. Right? Which starts with stop sending your representative to do your live streams. I love what you said, Nory, earlier about you had to be Nory even when no one was looking.
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't matter what people say about you or what you say about yourself when all the cameras are on and the Instagram's on and the TikTok is on and all the things, and you're curating this life that you have. None of that matters. What matters is what you whisper to yourself in the dark when you are alone with you.
Yes. Yes. And going to that dark, people don't want to go there. And I understand. I can see why. You haven't been, you scared, you know what's in there. But you got to go. You got to go to see what's happening in the shadow. You got to go to see how you show up when your vices are running the show. Because there are areas in your life where your vices are running the show, and you better find out what those are. And that's, my vices were running my show right before I made those 6 figures in 9 days. And I made the decision. I'm going to take RAM. I'm going to go ahead and be in charge. And I'm going to do it with joy. I'm not going to do it with an attitude. I'm not going to do it like somebody's forcing me. I'm going to do it because it's legit what I desire. Yes. And I reframed, I'm always where I need to be to I'm always where I desire to be. I'm always where I desire to be. So if right now, this is what I am generating in sales, it's because this is what I desire. Is it no longer what I desire? Let's do something else. And that required so much honesty, Shameca, because when you teach self-trust, it's constantly flashing in front of you. And if I, for 1 second, waver, and I'm like, well, Shameca don't know what she's doing, then now the whole system is collapsing. And I am collapsing with it because I never trusted it in the first place.
Yes.
So I'm always finding pockets of trust. I'm always finding pockets of ease. And that moment in between before I hit that was such a awakening, and celebrating it, being in it and realizing it. This does not necessarily mean you have a healthy business. So that to be able to see all of that and hold space for that is like, there's no words I can use to describe it, right? And in the 6 figures, it's only a materialization of what that has been like in the inside. And I felt it before I made that money. I felt the expansion in my body.
So there was something that came up. This was probably a month or 2 ago. I can't remember when the class was, but I taught a class called Trust.
Yep.
And Trust was a 30-day experience. It's still available. If you want to know how you can get access to it, you can just type the word trust in the comments, and then somebody from my team will reach out to you and let you know. But we did the Trust Masterclass. It was a 2-hour class with an hour Q&A after it. So a 3-hour experience to kick it off. And then there was 30 days of trust exercises. Yes. And I remember we were probably at about I don't know if it was halfway, about day 15 or 20, but we were pretty deep into it. And I just kept seeing you doing the exercises. And there was a good group of people that went through this course. Not everybody finished it. And so I messaged you and I said, I see you. And you were like, what you see? Yeah. And I was just like, I see you being impeccable with your word. Like, we don't realize how much integrity with your word. And it's not like, I love the 4 Agreements. It's an incredible book, but we allow ourselves to be impeccable with our words with other people. Forget to be impeccable with our word and in integrity with our word with ourselves. Yes. And so we have trained our spirit to not trust us because we don't do what we say we're going to do. We don't finish what we're starting. And you're wondering why. You're like, I'm going to have a 6-figure year. And it doesn't happen because don't nobody believe you, including yourself, because you don't never do what you say you're going to do. It's the small things.
It's your record.
It's the little things. And so I think it is apropos that you completed that entire doggone process, including every single check-in video, because I was there to check off whether or not you finished the job. See, we don't do that as long as everybody's there with you to be like, yay, it's done. And here's a reward for doing it. But when you do it when the only reward is that you're building trust and certainty in yourself. Yeah. The reward is that you know that you can count on yourself because I am impeccable with my word. When I say I'm going to do a thing, I do a thing, and that's just it and nothing at all. So it was beautiful for me to watch, and I feel like there's no accident that this came on the heels of that process.
I 1,000% agree with you on that, because when we did that class, I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to show up in the most powerful way I can with this because I teach this. So I have a unique opportunity to really expand to a new level in this environment, because my baseline is no longer what it used to be. So when I am doing these exercises, I'm doing it from a completely different place than Nory, that first started a business in 2018, was like. And I wanted to gift myself that. Like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to embody the trust. And I'm a huge believer in applying what I learn. And I realized that in my own world, there were some things I hadn't been applying. And I was like, this is a good invitation for me to see that, and for me to see it from a space of decision, not like a bad or a good thing, but from a space of, are you good with this? Like, is this how you want to move? Because if not, you can change it. So I'm really grateful for that challenge, because he really showed me, it showed me that sometimes I can overthink what authenticity looks like. And then he also showed me that authenticity is me. Anywhere I am, authenticity lives, because I am an authentic being. And if I only let that shine, then everything turns around in my environment. So I feel like a big part of what I had to experience in the last 12 months to get to this place, it was this immense surrender. This surrender that I don't have to be figuring things out every moment. This surrender and this trust that I've already done the thing. There's already videos out there on the internet with my content. And it's crazy. One of those sales, someone literally texted me and was like, hey, I want to send you $5,000 today.
Yes.
It was literally like, someone literally texted me and was like, I know I said no to this last month. Can I send you $5,000 today? And then can I send you $10,000 in XYZ day? And I was like,
this is like totally what I'm always teaching people. Like, it's about the digital footprint, but you got to trust the process. So if you don't trust the process, you're always interrupting the momentum. You're like, well, maybe I should change my offer, or maybe my messaging is off, so I'm going to start saying something different. And it's no, we put it all out there and it's already working until you're digging up the seeds, right? You're planting seeds and digging them up, and planting seeds and digging them up. You got to just let that fruit grow. Like, plant the seeds and let it water, and trust that you've done your part. It's the biggest part of the game. And it's beautiful when you get to see that happen, because you're like, oh, so now you have proof, right? Now you have something, evidence that's anchored. So now you can you'll trust for longer. Right. I don't know if you've ever heard the story of, I can't remember what it was, but there was like, I think it was a frog in a boiling pot or something like that. Or I don't remember what it is. They put something in there, turn the heat on it, and or like a rat that they were going to drown. And then right before it drowned, so the rat was swimming. It was a rat before they were going to drown, swimming. And right before the rat was about to like give up the ghost, they pulled the rat out. And I think it was like 3 hours. And so then they put other rats in, not even the same rat, other rats into that same pot. How long do you think those lasted?
You said the first one was about 3 hours? I was about 3 hours.
No, they didn't give up the ghost at all. Because somehow the message had gotten, like, if you just keep going, you'll survive. If you just keep going, you survive. If you just keep going, you survive. That evidence is that for you, right? You got to see that, oh, when I do a thing, people will just show up and give me money. Now you won't waver as much as you wavered before, but you got to hold on to get rescued in the first place. The rat had to hold on long enough to get pulled out of the pot in the first place.
Where my fan at, Lord? Where my fan at? I can't find my fan. Y'all better be taking notes. I'm out here like, where my notebook at? Like, I need to come back and rewatch this.
All right.
I just love that so much. Yeah.
It's such a powerful lesson in the psyche, right? How our animalistic behaviors work. But again, most people don't have the courage to keep paddling for the 3 hours in the first place. The majority of people are like, give up. They'll just die, or they're waiting on someone to save them. And if it's not going to happen, it's like, oh no, woe is me. And so that's why I named this like the courage to go after big ass goals, because it's not just about sending them. It's about having that tenacity to just keep going, one foot in front of the other, diagnosing, telling the truth about yourself, showing up in your own full power, being you, the you that you are when you're not in front of a camera, when you're in front of a camera. Like, it just doesn't shift and it doesn't change. I feel like with myself, people have so much, it's like it's not dichotomy that I'm looking for. It's like a juxtaposition for them. It's a cognitive dissonance. Like when they look at me, something's off. They're like, you run a multi-million-dollar business, because they have all these thoughts in their mind about what a multi-million-dollar business owner looks like, and it doesn't look like them. It look like a regular chick.
And I just had another realization just talking to you just now. I had said this intention that I wanted to be able to close clients on Messenger or via messaging without having to have calls. That was a $30,000 client that I closed via messaging. Like, we didn't even have a conversation.
Yes. And so here's what's beautiful about it. Most of the intentions you set were something you wrote on your heart or in a journal or wrote it down, and then you were doing the work to expand yourself. Yes. Most people set an intention, write a goal, and they're holding on to it so tightly. Every day is about creating $1 million business. Yes. I want to celebrate our ranking on Inc. 5000. It's what I'm going to do right now, because we've been on for just 35 minutes.
Tell us.
I want to reveal the ranking. But I set that goal, kind of wrote it on the tablets of my heart and wrote it in a journal almost a decade ago. It was a decade ago. It was 2012. Because I saw a couple of people in our industry who were Inc. 500. So I'm like, okay, it's not Inc. 500. As long as I can get on 5,000, I'm fine. I'm fine, right? And so that was written down. I wasn't working every day going, okay, I want to be in Inc. 5,000. Okay, it's time to make $1 million. That's not what I was doing. Like, oh, I'm so far off from $1 million. I was just doing my work and being in the now and serving people and watching this exponential growth happen. And every time another layer of like boom, pow growth would happen, it would go, wow. It would blow my mind. Like, did that just happen? Right? When we did $1 million a month, I was like, did that just happen? When we did $1 million a day, I was like, did that just happen? And then I just looked up today and we turned on the screen to play the Inc. 5000 reveal. They do this whole little crazy fun thing. And so I want to tell you guys where we are in the ranking, because I'm just like, that I just had in my heart just actually happened. So here we go. Drum roll. Inc. 5000 list. Shameca International. Let me look. Is number 310 on the Inc. 5000 list. You did the 500 list. Oh, 310. We're like number 24 or 23 in Los Angeles, number 52 in California. It's just super powerful for me, because all I'm doing is serving people the way that I know how. And I got to do this being me. I didn't have to wear a string of pearls, didn't have to wear a blue suit, didn't have to put a weave in my hair and straighten it. Like, didn't have to do any of that. Most of the time I've been wearing a purple mohawk, right? And the more I've leaned into who God has created me to be by design, I have attracted people like Nory, people like you, who see themselves in me, right? Who see somebody who can hold their power and who they can trust with their purpose, their visions, and their dreams to guide them and mentor them to this next level. And I'm helping them break records that it took me years to break, because I've already walked this path. So thank you guys for celebrating with me. I was a mess this morning. I was crying, having a little worship moment, because even though it was a desire and a goal to make this list in this way, I literally thought we would be around 1,300, between 1,300 and 1,500 is where I thought we would land. I did not. I had a hope. I did say that on a few live streams. Maybe we might make the Inc. 500. I didn't think we were going to do it. 310 is where we are on the list of the fastest growing privately held companies in America. And there are 30.7 billion companies, privately held companies in the United States right now. So not only did we make the 5,000 list, we made the 500 list. And the thing that I want to share the most with you is that I hope that as you watch my journey, whether you connect with me to mentor you or not, that you find possibility. Instead of letting the dissonance take you out of the game, I was with my pastor this weekend. He has an incredible multi-million dollar enterprise that he's built on his own as an entrepreneur, which is it's a cool thing that I get to experience because most pastors don't do that. And so he bought this home that we could use. He calls it the Mastermind Mansion, and we went there this weekend. And I was surrounded by other multi-million dollar business owners, and we were networking. And the beautiful thing is that a lot of those people look like me, right? And I think proximity matters, like getting yourself into spaces where you see people, whether it's another woman, like marginalized people, another Black person, Black woman, another person who didn't come from money. Create what you desire to create. You want to be around that more than you're around naysayers. Because when I was with him this weekend, I had this experience happens to me quite often where people that are close to me will share with me that someone came to them to ask them if I was telling the truth. And I always say it says more about you than me. And I realized that because that used to be me. There was a coach and mentor that I hired about 5 years ago. And I remember when she first said she created $1 million business, I told her this once I hired her. I said, I didn't believe you. And my not believing her was just because of what my mindset and my thought process was around people who had $1 million businesses. They did not look like her. They did not look like me. And what I know now is it gets to look however I want it to look.
Yes.
Right. I get to run $1 million business. She gets to have like right now, some of y'all probably having some cognitive dissonance about her baby being on here live. We don't care.
We sure don't. And he don't care either. He sleep.
Get over yourself, right? Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they have a baby. Yeah, we gonna have a baby, and she gonna work her business and other clients in the DM, and I'm gonna work my business and keep doing what I'm doing. Like it gets to look however you choose for it to look. You get to drive what you want to drive, wear what you want to wear, have your hair how you want to have it, not how it's supposed to be, right? You get to do all of those things, live wherever you want to live. One of the most funniest things ever is during the pandemic, when we crossed $1 million, there was this meme going around that said the tax plan that they were proposing to tax people was for people who were like, I think over $500,000 or whatever. They were like, if your ceiling looks like this, it's not for you. And that statement was like, if you had a popcorn ceiling, and it's funny, I look up right now, this ceiling is a popcorn ceiling. Yet that tax bill definitely was for me. Ask the IRS. I wrote them a check, right? It's definitely for me. And so, and I want you to know, like, you get to have it any way you want to, and it can be profitable, and you don't have to overwork. Like, you hear all these people saying, well, we don't want $1 million businesses because we don't want the stress of the big teams and having to work so many hours and all the list of things that come with $1 million business or a multi-million dollar business. And that does not have to be the truth. Although they're telling you that they make $1 million, but they don't tell you how much profit they create. And they're probably making less money than you are, and you're making 6 figures. That is not true for everyone. Right. I often will share my numbers because I want you guys to know what's possible for you. And while I'm not going to share my specific numbers right now, I did share a post yesterday where I kind of gave it away. But my business is 41% profitable. Right. Our attrition rate is very small. I don't work a lot of hours. I was just typing in something for somebody I'm going to be talking to in the next couple of days. Probably about 26 hours a week in delivery in the programs that I have with, not a week, that's a lot, 26 hours a month. Let me fix that. 26 hours a month in delivery across the programs that I have to deliver in. And I built it that way by design, not by default. So here's the last thing that I'm going to say before we take off. And then I want to, Nory, start thinking about this, whatever you want to wrap up and say to people as a word of encouragement and inspiration about your own journey. I wasn't going to do this, but I want to do a quick invitation. So I already told you guys, if you want access to that trust masterclass that Nory went through, you can just type trust and we'll come back through the comments and all the sections and send you the information so that you can get access to the class. The second thing is, I don't work privately with anybody one-on-one, but as she was talking, I was feeling called to make an offer to do this. And it's just one offer, one spot that I have to take you into the end of the year. If you know you have a goal that you have for the end of this year and you're feeling a little out of sorts with how you're going to get there, this is for established business owners. You're probably at 6 or multiple 6 figures already. I want to make an offer if you're feeling called to my mentorship to work with you one-on-one. Again, there isn't a possibility to do this. And so I'm actually creating this right now on the spot as we're talking. I would say from now until the end of the year. So that's going to be like the next 3 to 4 months of working together. The way that you're going to get access to that is you're just going to message me. Just DM me. Doesn't matter where you are. It can be Instagram. It can be Facebook. Send me a message. And in that message, just say, I'm ready. Don't know what it's about, but I am ready, because this thing is about more than what you can see with your eyes. And my job is to be a reflection of your greatness. My job is to show you the potholes that I've walked through, the ways that I've sabotaged myself, that you likely are sabotaging yourself as well, that will stay all the way in your way and not allow you to be able to close a $30,000 sale or have a $78,000 day or $100 and whatever $1,000 month or week, and look at it from a 3,000 foot level, but hold your feet to the fire with what you say you want to create in your life. And so if that's you, again, there's only one spot. Just message me and say, I'm ready. That's all I have for today. And Nory, I'm going to turn this over to you to kind of like wrap us up for this session.
You better get that one spot. I mean, I know y'all going to get it because the vibes are the vibes. What I will say closing this conversation is collapsing the time between making 6 figures in 9 months to 9 days is an inside job. It's an inside job with key outside levers to help you in that process. Shameca is one of my levers. Like, being in her community helps me see other people that are hitting these numbers. And it also helps me check myself. When those things are coming up in conversations and I see that I'm not celebrating, I can ask the question, well, why not? And decide to celebrate. And there was such much attachment I had to hitting 6 figures. It had been my number one goal since I ever had a business, because that's what the guru said it had to be. And when I hit that number, it was so anticlimactic. And I realized in that moment that I'm like, where is it? Where is this big feeling I'm supposed to have that, that comes with hitting this goal? And I realized that that's the feeling that I already had, because it's the feeling that comes from trusting myself every day to go out there and to not perform for people, to not audition for people, including myself. Because I saw that I was auditioning for me too. I also felt like I had to be good enough for me in order to give myself my own time. And it's not until you begin to do that things start to shift for you. It's not until you see what's happening in your vices that you can transform them into virtues to bring to life your vision. And sometimes we just can't see the vision because we're too close. A knife cannot cut itself, and it needs other knives or other tools to sharpen. And I feel that you have been that for me in this process. And as much as I teach self-trust, and I do, and I'm the best in the game at it, FYI, I also know that there are things about me that I don't see. And every opportunity I get to see that in the mirror like you, to see those possibilities, I can quiet those stories and say, thank you, but this is what I know is possible. This is what I see is possible. And I can journey with that. And I know that it's possible for anybody watching this. I grew up in a town that has no running water. We don't even have roads. So I don't come from a place that has money. My mom was definitely making $19,000 a year with my dad. That's how I got to college under a educational opportunity program, which is a special program for broke people, basically. This has been a manifestation of courage, of willingness, and desire. So if you have that, you can do it. And if you don't have it, Shameca can help you tap into it. If you need trust, I can help you with that. Ultimately, you gotta be willing to do the hard things for you. And unless you're willing to do the hard thing for you, you don't keep dreaming about them 6 figures. And it doesn't have to be a dream. It's a very available reality. And I'm just so grateful to have been able to see that and to be able to call that on it. There is a beauty to being planted. And I had to be so planted before I can make this a reality for myself. To experience it and to align with that frequency, I had to be okay to be in the planted season, in the roots growing season, so that I can normalize this process, which is what's next for me. And I'm really grateful to know that that's the process itself, because I felt really lost before it. And now that I know where I'm at, where I'm heading, and what is it that it looks like for me, I was in Shameca's DMs yesterday asking her some questions around increasing things in my business and shifting things around, because I know that I'm not surviving anymore. I know that I do this and I do it with ease, and I can embody it in everything I do. And I know the same is possible for you. So, you know the vibes.
I love it. So I'm going to do this one last time because, you know, you're dope and everything. And so if you guys will just help me one last time celebrate Nory and all of her splendor, everything that she's done. It's the dopest thing ever. Good job, girl. Yay!
So I literally couldn't have done this without you, like truly. And I'm so grateful for you. I congratulate you on just being bold, being willing to be the bold lady with the bold glasses and the bold gap, making the bold coins. Like, I love that. And I'm so grateful that I found you, that I align myself to your frequency, because you have shifted my generations to come and my legacy. He's literally on this calls with us all the time. And I feel that you have taught me that success can look so different. Even what I feel is good enough success, that's only a fraction of what's available to me. And you have shown me that I could do it with glasses, with red lipstick, and a baby. And I love that for me, and I love that for you.
Thank you. I love it. I receive it all. I'm just sitting here and just taking it all in. Take it all in. Take it all in. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. This conversation's a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but I think it's a much needed conversation and powerful conversation. I appreciate you all for celebrating with Nory, for celebrating with me. But I hope this calls you to a higher version of yourself and to the path, the direct path to your next level, whatever that may be. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment, like right now. I'm not gonna stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously, leave a comment.